Smart Energy Group. We are a vendor of home energy solutions as well as home energy solutions income eligible. For anyone who's not familiar, home energy solutions is a statewide utility-based program. So it's administered by EnergizeCT, which is all the state utility companies, Eversource, Illuminating, gas companies, and it's basically available to all Connecticut residents that are a ratepayer of those utilities. It's a heavily subsidized program in the sense that it's funded by ratepayers' utility bills, and people only have to pay a small copay in order to get the full benefits of the assessment. So to get into some of the benefits of an assessment overall, you're going to save money. As Deb mentioned, obviously everyone loves saving money. You save energy, lowering your carbon footprint. And comfort is something that's kind of hard to put a value on, but eliminating drafts from your home or issues with distribution of heating systems, things like that. Another really crucial thing that we take a look at is health and safety issues that might be in the home. We test for all sorts of things. Gas leaks on any natural gas or propane lines. We test for carbon monoxide issues with heating system exhausts. We try to identify other potential issues like mold or asbestos containing materials. So that's another great benefit of having the assessment performed. And beyond that, when we take a look at more big picture measures, we can link people up with a lot of resources, such as incentives, show them how to take advantage of financing on larger measures. And this year, especially, a lot of the incentives are higher than they've been in the past, which is great. So to touch on some of the finer details, first of all, a home energy solutions visit can be performed mainly single family homes, but also multifamily homes up to 4 units. Anything beyond 4 units it's considered part of the multifamily program, which is a slightly different initiative. We're not going to focus too much on that right now, but with home energy solutions, like I said, I like to think of it as kind of 3 main phases. So initially, we're doing a thorough inspection. We're identifying, like I said, potential safety issues, doing combustion safety testing of heating systems, fireplaces, gas ovens, whatever it may be. Then comes kind of what is considered the core services of the assessment. So these are instant savings measures that we're implementing right on site. Probably the biggest and most beneficial is weatherization or air sealing. So you guys saw a quick picture of the blower door test. Blower door guided air sealing is probably the most valuable component of the assessment in terms of what goes on during the assessment. And a blower door test, for anyone who's not familiar, is a really incredible diagnostic tool. It's essentially a large fan which depressurizes the home. So picture you close all the windows, all the exterior doors of the house, a big fan sucks air out of the house. In doing so, we're able to do 2 things. One, we can measure overall how airtight the house is. Therefore, we know how much opportunity for improvement there is. And 2, the test will allow us to identify specific areas of heat loss or air infiltration, which then kind of shows us where we need to focus on in terms of sealing. So in terms of sealing itself, we can do a lot of weatherization measures that it could include weather stripping doors and windows, caulking of trims or areas of draft, installing door sweeps, spray foaming in attics and basements, penetrations going to the living space, all kinds of things like this. And you can see a lot of potential savings just from tightening up the envelope of the home. The other core service measures would be lighting. So we'll take a look at the lighting of the house. If there's any older inefficient lights, halogens, incandescents, things like that, we can install up to 25 LED bulbs, including many different styles. We also, people are allowed to purchase additional bulbs beyond that limit at a subsidized rate if they want more. And we'll also take a look at some hot water saving measures, such as insulating hot water pipes, or installing lower flow faucet aerators or shower heads if desired. Also, should have mentioned ductwork as well. And a similar test to blower door testing, we can test the tightness of heating distribution systems, ductwork in homes, and then seal gaps and cracks on those systems as well, which can be crucial for their performance. So those are kind of the core service measures. And kind of the final stage, which brings everything together, is trying to identify deeper measures that may be needed. So these are larger measures, things we can't necessarily do during, a 3 or 4 hour assessment. But so we'll take a look at, I mean, literally everything that involves energy efficiency, but especially heating and cooling systems, insulation, windows, appliances, thermostats, all of that stuff. And in doing so, what we're going to do is, first of all, determine what's needed, talk to the customer about it, which is key because a lot of people aren't super familiar with all these systems and all the different options, and it can be kind of a lot to wrap your head around. So it's great to have, a professional come out. They've looked at everything, they've tested the house. They say, okay, these are really your biggest priorities in terms of moving forward. These are going to be the best returns on investment. These are going to yield you the greatest savings. And what we'll also do is take a look at incentives that they may qualify for. So through doing the assessment itself, we can qualify people for rebates on areas that need improvement. Some of these rebates are extremely substantial, such as insulation. In many cases, over 80% of the cost of job, if it's a straightforward job, can be covered by the rebates, which can also be reassigned, meaning basically people just pay the cost, the cost difference after the rebate. But there's rebates on all kinds of things, windows and heating and cooling and all that. There's also a lot of different incentives. They don't necessarily work like mail-in rebates, but they're available to Connecticut residents. And we'll kind of explain to people what's out there and how they can use it. On top of incentives, there's also a lot of really incredible financing options. In a lot of cases, interest as low as 0%, but for larger loans as low as 1% or 0.99% on up to 10-year terms on things like heat pumps especially, but all kinds of heating system replacements. So basically, we'll just explain the resources that are available and kind of point people in the right direction. They'll get a report at the end of the assessment that summarizes what we did, what their estimated savings are based on the work, what our professional recommendations are going forward, and all of that. So now, if another, so do you guys want me to touch on income eligible as well, or is that going to be?
Let me just ask, we don't have anybody from EcoSmart on the line,
Deb,
right?
let me ask Glenn Butler to unmute. He had to dial in by phone. I'm not sure we'll be, if we don't overcome the technical difficulty, then Ryan will ask you to go ahead.
Sure.
Let's see, it's so far I'm not able to get him to unmute. Hey, Glenn, I don't know if you have a button you can push to make yourself unmute. If not, no worries. I think Ryan's got a slide up and he can cover the HES-IE. Income eligible is what that stands for.
Yeah, I'm happy to touch on that if that works better.
Yeah, I think go ahead, and that'll let Glenn off the Zoom technical difficulty hook that he's on right now.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. So HES Income Eligible, or HES-IE, it's very similar in the sense that a lot of the core services are the same. However, if people qualify based on income, they can receive even higher incentives and even greater benefits of the assessment. So, for example, in an HES income eligible job, there's no cap on the amount of LEDs we can install, where it's 25 free LEDs with the HES. By free, I mean included within the copay, which right now, I should have mentioned this, is $50. There's a $50 copay, which covers everything I described, regardless of the scope of weatherization. On an income eligible job.
HES-IE, right, Ryan? HES-IE is free, right?
HES-IE is 100% free. HES, there's a $50 copay currently. With income eligible, it's free if you qualify based on income. It's a very simple application process. You do need to provide either proof of income or signing an affidavit of zero income. If you qualify, like I said, there's no limit on LEDs, but even bigger than that, the incentives on larger measures are much greater. So with HES, let's say you need insulation, we're going to sign off on a rebate which will cover large portions of the cost. We can also provide a proposal for the work. With income eligible, it's a little different. We basically submit proposals to the utilities, and in many cases, they'll cover up to 100% of the costs, oftentimes 100% of the costs on insulation. And even things like larger measures like windows and heating systems, especially heat pumps, they'll cover up to 100% of the cost. Just recently, I've seen a lot of income eligible jobs that have gotten triple pane windows throughout the whole house, completely covered, insulating walls, attics, basements, spray foaming rim joists, completely covered, and in some cases even heat pump systems, mini splits or ducted heat pumps, whatever it may be, covered in full as well through the IE program. With the HES program, the rebates are still good, but there's typically going to be some kind of copay left over. So if people do qualify based on income, it's great for these kind of upgrades. The exact thresholds, I don't have the figures in front of me, but we could provide
I've got that,
applications.
Ryan. I can share that in
Sure.
my screen.
And this goes for like, so say you own a rental property, it's based on tenant income. So if it's low income tenants, it doesn't matter what your income is. If they qualify based on income, we can do a HES-IE assessment on that property.
So in that case, Ryan, even if I'm a landlord and my tenant is low income, my tenant can benefit from the comfort and safety support that you all will provide. And I, the landlord, will actually have my property improved by some of the measures that you're able to do. So it's kind of a win-win.
Absolutely. Yeah. In a lot of cases, the tenants are the ones who are, well, obviously the ones living there. So they're affected by, the comfort and the drafts and things like that. But in many cases, they're also the ones paying the utilities. So they'll directly benefit in that way as well. As the landlord, of course, you benefit from, value added to the property, whatever it may be, triple pane windows, and everyone benefits, of course, from, the reduction in emissions and